So, hi, welcome to Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
Throwback Thursday, recorded on a Thursday, posted on a fucking Monday, man.
I'm back home.
And Glory's home.
Yay!
Yay! Not on someone's porch. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I missed that porch. Fuck yeah.
Continuing along here with the Fall Out Boy discography. Now, I guess officially in the main line, we took a slight detour, did a side quest to start things off with a mini LP, extended play, whatever you want to call it.
An album that they don't even acknowledge.
Yeah.
That they didn't want released.
Yeah.
I was learning lore about it, and I went, "Oh damn, this wasn't even supposed to come out."
Yeah, pretty
Crazy
much.
Work. Crazy work.
But we're chatting about their 2003 debut album today, Take This to Your Grave. This is the technical official start to the mainline discography. No more albums that they didn't want released, were rushed, what have you. But we're diving into it. Funnily enough, this morning, getting ready for this was the first time I've heard this record in full.
Really?
Yes, because when I got into Fall Out Boy, I was still fairly new to the alternative music genre, so I immediately went for From Under the Cork Tree, because that's got Sugar We're Going Down. I grew up listening to that song on the radio, so I just immediately went for that because I was like, I want to listen to Fall Out Boy because all the people that like My Chemical Romance and Panic at the Disco also like Fall Out Boy.
So emo trinity.
Yeah, so I want to listen to Fall Out Boy, but I want to listen to but I know the song on this album, so I'm just going to start here.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it doesn't get any better than From Under the Cork Tree, so I'm just not going to go backwards one to the debut, because I was convinced, like, I just basically gaslit myself into believing that the debut sounded like the record we chatted about last week.
Yeah, that's...
That, like, it was just, that it was like your stereotypical debut album, and I just never listen to it. I've heard songs because I've seen them live. I talked last week about the stage setup where they did a couple of these songs on their last tour. So I've heard songs off the record, but I've never went out of my way to listen to it in full. So this morning was the first time listening to it in full, and I'm happy to report that I was wrong. It doesn't sound like your stereotypical debut album. We covered that last week. The record's solid. It's definitely a slight product of its time in terms of the way it sounds, and it's very early 2000s pop punk, lyrically and instrumentally and production wise. Definitely a product of its time, but I love that. And I love that sound. So there's a reason why, like, as I said last week, the basis for the band was there, albeit those songs, every single one was too long, and the production and the mix and everything was god awful on that record. Everything, the basis for the band was there, the songwriting was there, and it's just refined on this record. Calm Before the Storm made its way over from the last release onto this one, but yeah, it's just solid. It's a step up for sure from what we talked about last week. Big fan of Saturday is like the song. Big fan of that one. Big fan of Chicago's 2 years ago. Grenade Jumper is one I've been digging as well. Calm Before the Storm, I liked that on the initial version, and I like it on here as well. And I like Dead on Arrival because I think that the chorus and verse lines that's super tongue-in-cheek and awesome, and that's kind of just strewn about the record, and Fall Out Boy's lyrics are very tongue-in-cheek, but man, it's fucking awesome. This record's solid. I'm glad that I was wrong for sure.
No, so it's really funny that you say that this was the record that you like avoided when you first got into Fall Out Boy, because I listened to their entire discography when I first got into the emo trinity, emo quartet for me, because 21 Pilots was thrown in there.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, Fall Out Boy, okay, I guess it's my turn to get into Fall Out Boy, because I've already checked off 21 Pilots, Panic, My Chem. I know all of those albums. I know all those lyrics. Now I can get into the final one. and I listened to all their albums except for this one, and I went, nothing here is calling to me except for the big songs. What a Catch, Johnny, because it had Brendan Urie. Fucking $20 Nosebleed because it had Brendan Urie. Fucking, as you said, Dance Dance. You know, just the big tracks that they
There's
had.
a reason
Except
why they have so many big hits.
exactly. It's a reason. There's a reason why those are the big songs.
Mm-hmm.
So when I finally got to this record, this was the only one that I had on loop. This was the one that actually clicked for me. I don't know why, but this was when people would ask, like, what's your favorite Fall Out Boy record? I would say American Beauty, American Psycho, Take Us to Your Grave, and then eventually when Mania came out, Mania. So I was so all over the place. None of those things match up except, American Beauty, American Psycho,
That's the most
and Mania.
wild Fall Out Boy top 3 I've heard.
I know, but God damn, it's the truth, man. Because listening to this record again, I only had to listen to it once this morning because I'd spent so much time with it on YouTube, on Spotify. I think before I had Spotify Premium, this was one of the records that I would just kind of like put in a playlist, like a couple times over. So even though it would still mix in random songs, it would still be the majority of what I get in that playlist. I love this. It has a very special place in my heart because again, this was the only Fall Out Boy record that I was actually able to enjoy and get into in full. I think how it opens, tell tell that Mick, he just made my list of things to do today. Tell that Mick. Okay, I was like, what the fuck? I thought I was like having a stroke or something for a second. I was like, am I reading
That's
this
just
right?
the average Fall Out Boy title experience.
It's so fucking whatever, jumbled. Great song. Dead on Arrival is one of my favorites. Grand Theft Autumn, Where's Your Boy? Where's Your Boy specifically was the song that really made me, oh, well, it was Dead on Arrival and then Where's That Boy? Where's Your Boy? That really made me go, oh, this is my record then. Okay, cool. Because it was whiny, it was upbeat, it was catchy, it hit all the notes for me, and it wasn't doing too much. So I guess for my brain, it was like, this is more palatable for me because it doesn't have, in my head, the super big tracks, so there isn't anything to kind of be let down after such a big peak of Dance Dance. What the fuck comes after Dance Dance? I'm gonna be so real. I don't remember because I haven't listened to that record in so long. If it's another big track, that's
I think it
embarrassing.
is the other big song.
Fuck! God damn it! Crazy Run, Crazy Run. I think it's just a fucking insane record. Chicago's So 2 Years Ago is incredible. The Patron Saint of Liars and Fakes is a great closer. Reinventing the Wheel to Run Myself Over.
Great
It
song title.
is a fucking hit after hit after hit. It's 12 songs in just under 40 minutes. I think it's a bright record. I think it's fun. I think it's catchy. I read something when I was looking up this record, and the title was Take This to Your Grave is the perfect record if you're 12 years old. And I went, literally, because I was 12 years old. I went, no, you got that. Because it was just like, because it's the record where you're angry, but you don't know about what because you're only 12 years old. So it's just kind of like I'm angsty, but that's it. This record covers a lot of breakup, broken relationship topics, which again, I didn't understand then. I don't understand now, but it's just like, damn, I was so angsty. I was like, fuck that girl.
Yeah.
Fuck her. Even that's, man, what the hell? I don't, no, man. I don't know any of that shit. So I think it's a fucking insane record. I think it's a great official debut where they were ready to actually present themselves to the world. I think it's great. I mean, granted, they were set up for greatness with this record. I mean, signed by Fuel by Ramen, they were given a super hefty budget for recording. They were able to work with people that worked with, I believe, Motion City Soundtrack. Just the fucking Goliaths of the scene back then. They were able to go to the same studios, work with the same producers, and so it's kind of like I would expect a good record if you have all of those tools. Plus Patrick Stump's vocals and Pete Wentz's pen. It's going to be a fucking great record. A lot of people also commented on the drums of this record, saying that it really defined the genre because I was not active in the scene back then. Couldn't tell you how accurate that is. But I do have to say, fucking instrumentals, as always with Fall Out Boy, I do like how technical they get later on in their discography. They get a little more. I feel like the best word is just whimsical with their music, I guess. They get a lot loosey-goosey, just fun shit that they start to do. But you can kind of hear them getting a little playful in this record, versus the last one where it's very an imitation of the sounds that were happening back then
Yeah.
instead of original creative stuff. All that to say, really like this record. I can't say it had like a big impact on me because I had to go through their entire discography to find it. And even then, when I did have my moment with it, it wasn't a record that I still come back to now. It was just kind of like, well, fuck, I gotta like a Fall Out Boy record. And then I found this record and I went, oh, I really like this one. And then I just never came back to it. Because Fall Out Boy, I hope that this review series changes it for me because, again, they are a Goliath in the scene. They are kind of like a counterpart of what Bring Me the Horizon did, where it's just kind of they're always ahead of the game, but just on two different scales, two different sides of the alternative scale, where
Yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon's on the more metal side, and then Fall Out Boy's more on the pop punk side. So it's cool to see how two massive bands were emerging roughly the same time of the scene who are still very big, important parts of the scene back then and now, and are still being dynamic and transforming music. It's fucking awesome. I do appreciate Fall Out Boy. Give them their flowers every time. I hope this review series changes how I listen to them because right now they are not in my rotation, but I would like them to be because again, they're just a fucking sick band,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I was not aware of the lore here. All I knew is you were a Mania fan.
Oh my
which
God, I love Mania.
I had my moment with Mania, but I fear that opinion now might be questionable at best. But we'll find out later in this series. I did not know about that little lore drop with "Take This to Your Grave." You know, based on what you had said to me right before we started recording, I honestly thought that I was going to be like, "Yeah, this record was good," and you were going to be like, "Yeah, man, like I don't know why the hell I signed up for this, and can we 86 this idea?"
Very nostalgic.
Yeah,
it was very nostalgic. Yeah.
Well, I think that this album just kind of with the sound, whether or not you had a moment with it like you did, I didn't, but I still get that nostalgic feeling from it because it's 22 years old, which is wild to think about. But it's just like you get that nostalgic feeling listening to it. Anyway, which is why I enjoy part of why I enjoy it because like the albums that came out around the time that I was born, it's like shit, I was alive for this or I was like about to be born and I just
why wasn't I there?
I just missed seeing My Chemical Romance play their Bullets album release show. If I was born a couple months earlier, I could have been there. Like
could have waddled out there, man.
So that's something I always enjoy about these alternative bands and getting to hear like their first albums that all kind of emerged at the same time. It's nostalgic for me because I'm like, shit, I was like a thought and a baby at that time, so like I could have been there if I was born a few years earlier. Shit.
Exactly. Fuck.
It haunts me every fucking day. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm glad I finally took a swing at it. Owned it on vinyl before I listened to it in full. So, but that's not
send that
out
shit
of the
to me.
normal.
You don't deserve that shit.
It was when Fueled By was doing their like 25-year anniversary, like right around the pandemic, and they were doing that the silver vinyl every month.
I remember that.
I bought the ones of the bands that I liked. So.
And I remember that coming out and me seeing that one and going, fuck, I kind of want that one because it was the only Fall Out. Again, I feel like it's so special to me because it's the only Fall Out Boy record that I like. Not because it stands out or anything against anything else I was listening to at that time. It's just like, I got one.
Yeah.
You know? I think the band is great, though. I still have to give them their flowers.
I hope that your opinion changes as things go on. I don't know how you can hear from under the cork tree and be like, this band's just okay, but I guess we'll find out next week, and you'll probably start pissing me off after this one. Yeah.
just fucking throw the whole fucking review away, man. Just get rid of it.
But yeah, solid album for sure. Those are our thoughts. on Fall Out Boy's 2003 album, Take This to Your Grave. As we've talked about this entire time, we're diving into the entire discography. Every single album, we are touching on it. We are doing an episode for it. So if you like Fall Out Boy and you want to hear our thoughts, they could be very diverse opinions, very on opposite sides of the playing field here. So if you wanna see Glory and I duke it out, you should subscribe, because this is the first review series that could get interesting, because I know going in, Glory and I are definitely not on the same page about this band. So
I mean, Mania alone has been the source of a couple like arguments. Great record. Great record.
So yeah, if you want to see that go down, definitely subscribe. Other than that, you can follow us on Twitter. It's good_noise_cast. Instagram is Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. All your streaming services are all Good Noise Podcast, and Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. Other than that, I have been Shane.
I've been Glory.
And we've been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.